Hello and welcome to Pals Pulls. This is the Comics Pals weekly show where we review comics. This is one of the last ones of the year as we're closing out 2022. And I think after last week's lull, the entire industry came with a roaring vengeance because when I tell you guys that my pull list was over 20 books long,
Damn.
Yeah, my Marvel
yeah,
list was insane. Yeah.
yeah,
Do,
guys, it
do you
was
have all of them?
wild.
Can you just stack them up and show us how thick that
You
stack
want
be?
that real quick? Okay, hold on a
let me
second.
let
I
me see
got you.
the girth, Sean.
Oh, I want that. I want to
And
see
of
how
course, he takes
thick
off
it
his
is.
headphones as soon as I tell him to show me the girth.
Okay, so including obviously what we're going to be reading today, my stack for the week is this.
God damn!
Meaty, yeah?
Whoo. All those dead trees, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Well worth it.
They make some pretty comic books though. The gang's all here. The gang's all here. We got Tyler.
I'm first. Hi, hello. How's it going?
We got Kale
What's up, hot dogs?
and Marco.
Air.
I'm Sean, and I'm excited to talk about this week's comics. Leave us a hello if you're tuned in watching live. Otherwise, just drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts about this week's books. Let us know what you want us to read. We're going to be putting up a poll, and we're going to let you guys choose the listener pick via that. So look out for us on Twitter at the Comics Pals for that poll, and that's going to help us determine next week what we're going to be reading. So be on the lookout for that. Patreon.com/the Comics Pals if you want to support the show. Helps us out a lot. Costs you very little. Just check it out. Check out all the stuff we've got on offer there. An exclusive show that, most of you have not yet heard. Palling Around. That's where we talk about whatever the heck we feel like talking about. It's hasn't been comics quite yet. So getting to learn more about our lives and stuff like that. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers over on youtube.com/the Comics Pals. So if you're not subscribed yet for some reason, simple enough to go hit that sub button. That's absolutely free. And it costs, it costs you nothing because it's free and helps us out a ton. If you want to watch us live, youtube.com and twitch.tv/the Comics Pals, 6 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern every single Saturday. Come hang out with us for both of those things. Without further ado, shilling aside, let's get into this week's books. First, we've got Gargoyles, #1. Hotly anticipated return of the Gargoyles. Original series creator Greg Weisman writing this, joined by George Cambatis on the illustrations and Jeff Eckleberry on the letters. So I didn't know that I wanted a Gargoyles book. Like, I'm not going to lie, I haven't really thought about the Gargoyles that much, even though I loved them as a kid. And when we first talked about this announcement, I mean, my God, so excited. The return of these great characters in this interesting world and stuff. And I got to tell you, I think for me as someone who I'm not the biggest Gargoyles fan in the world, but I know enough. I thought that this was kind of like really, really dry. I don't think that it showcased why I was interested in Gargoyles as a kid.
Anything?
It was almost entirely just a reintroduction to all the characters and sort of where they're at now. Which, this was the worst possible way to do that, I think. To reintroduce this world. I think they picked the wrong angle.
Dude, they gave us a bulleted list of this is who you need to know. Oh, remember this person? Oh, you know this thing? I don't worry about this, but here's this thing. Like, okay, I could appreciate it to some extent. And then it just got into this like extended cast. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I don't need to know all this at the moment. Give me something to ground me in, and then like start to reveal this slow. This is just all at once. They like threw a paint bucket at me.
Who here has not seen Gargoyles? Anyone?
I've never seen it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So how did this work for you then in that context, Tyler?
I fell asleep. Um,
Okay.
it was. The problem is that from what I understand, this is a continuation of where the show left off. So
Oh,
they had
Yeah.
to reestablish everything from the show, including all these side characters and continuations and clones of characters that we're just meeting in this book, and like their version of the Morlocks, essentially. There must be 20 something characters introduced by name in this book. Um,
by name.
it is rough. It feels like if you took like the Wikipedia page and you fed it through an AI generator who came up with a comic script. Like it just, I was like, oh, I had to put all these names in. Yeah, it was. It's a dynamite book. You know, uh, even art wise, I wasn't totally blown away. Um, I like flat art, but something about this fell flat for me. You know what I mean? Like it. Yeah, no, it's just this didn't do much for me. The best part of this was seeing all the covers in the back, like where it could, like, it would show you all the different covers. I'm like, oh, look, it's gargoyles drawn well. This was
Damn.
almost. It felt like I wasn't looking at comic book art as much as I was looking at like help me out, in animations, an animation cell. It looked like a series of animation cells that I was looking at instead,
Mm.
where the lines were super thin, backgrounds non-existent. It felt weird.
Kind of
Yeah, no,
empty.
I wasn't sold on this at all.
Uh, I thought the I generally like didn't remember a good portion of these characters' names, and so it felt good to come back to them and to see them visually represented like this. I think the show had thicker outlines, thicker inks. It was meant to be like a dark show, and so for this to have all this brightness, these colors, lights everywhere, the gargoyles live in the shadows, and the book is the exact opposite of that. So that felt super super dissonant. Um, it I thought that they were rendered well. I don't know about the composition of faces maybe all the time, but I thought that they looked good otherwise. It didn't look one to one, but I didn't mind it because I figured this is an interpretation to some degree. Where we're bringing this from the small screen to comics, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of leeway there. But yeah, to Tyler's point, the backgrounds just felt vapid.
I remember because there's been a lot of show to comics adaptations over the last, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years. I'm talking about like Buffy.
Mhm.
Um, I'm talking about Power Rangers. If you expand to movies, you've even got stuff like, Predator, the new Predator stuff, the new Alien stuff,
Star Trek like a few weeks ago.
Star Trek, right? So there's a way to do this. And quite frankly, I think all those ones I just listed, you could maybe argue for Alien, but I think all of them were pretty good. At least when they started, wherever they went off to, that's, your own opinion. I love Buffy when it came back. Thought Power Rangers was fantastic. Yada yada yada. You have to assume, in my opinion, that the people buying the book are inherently interested. It's not a new concept. You know whether you like this or not, or you've heard of it, or someone told you, "Wow, gargoyles are coming back. This is gonna be so cool." So there's a foreknowledge that you can expect that the reader has, not to the point where you alienate them by not explaining anything, but I think that there's a middle ground between this and explaining nothing. They went way too far. I remember with Buffy, it's a continuation. The characters are
Yep.
in unique places. You're interested in knowing where they're at. And if you've never read it before, well, hey, they have all this history that you can go see on DVD. I don't I don't remember a lot of these characters, and I didn't give a damn about them. If I don't remember them now, that means that they're not that memorable. Tell me why I should care about them. This was a huge blunder.
It should have gotten to the core of the characters when it just lists them. You know what I mean? Like I know of the gargoyles. I know Goliath. I knew him by name, even though I never watched the show. I was really into side note, I was really into like Kingdom Hearts forums as a kid. Um and like people would come up with their own like worlds and stuff, and everyone wanted a gargoyle world. I remember that. So that's where my knowledge of gargoyles comes from. But like, Greg Weisman knows how to do this. Like, he does Young Justice. Like, that is a good character-driven show.
Yeah.
Blunder is a good word for it, Sean.
Interestingly, the comic book for Young Justice, not that great.
Does he write
Also
that as
by
well?
him.
I think he does, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's the medium.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. Hello, Love Snack. Hello, Justin. Hello, hello, everyone watching right now. I agree also on the art front that, when I first saw the preview pages, I don't know, I thought it had like I thought it looked more dynamic than it does. Flat. It's very flat, and I guess you could have gotten away with that. That's not an inherently bad thing to me by any means, but I don't know. The characters just don't look that interesting. When I think about Goliath and I think about the gargoyles, in my mind, they just look majestic. And maybe that's just my, me being a kid and stuff. But they don't look that cool for some reason to me. It could also be that they're not doing anything cool. Like nothing cool happens. So it's not like you're getting those great poses and stuff like that. But something has to change on that front.
Like, I look at this cover and like, this might sound gross, but like Goliath on the cover, he's like ripped. He's got this vascularity to him.
Awesome.
He's muscly. And in the book, he looks like an action figure, like not in a good way. He's like a McDonald's action figure, while this is like more of a McFarlane action figure on the cover, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And like, I did not know Goliath and the main human character were a thing. That was like, oh, you're just gonna throw a monster fucking in this book too? All right.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. You know it. I'm gonna say pass, unfortunately. I will personally keep buying this, but I would not recommend this because I just don't. I think if you've never read Gargoyles before, there is absolutely nothing here that will make you feel like you need to be checking this out. And if you have, you'll most likely just be disappointed. But I will continue to buy it.
Your best hope is that issue 2 they get into something.
Yeah, exactly.
But like even like what?
Yeah.
And if they get into it, why wasn't that issue 1? Like that. This is too much preamble. This is a hard pass.
You literally only need to focus on the characters that are on the cover. Like,
Yeah.
And a villain. That's it.
who they don't name the villain, by the way. Like, out of all the characters, that guy at the end, they don't say who he is.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't know who that
makes
was.
it makes it more exciting. This could have been Dynamite's Power Rangers, and it's just not.
This Dynamite fizzled.
It tragically feels like a TV adaptation comic. Like, outside of I generally like how did you say his last name? Cambatis?
Yeah,
I always thought it was like Cam Day. Anyway,
it might be.
I always like his art generally is really dynamic, and like in this car chase scene, I think it's really good. But yeah, man, the way they're just standing around, like.
Yeah. Well, enough of that. Let's talk about
Can I
Dark
just say one
Web
thing before
number 1.
we transfer over. Are you guys surprised?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Kinda. Yeah.
Dude, all
I'm
those
sorry.
books I listed off
Yeah.
are legitimately good.
But
I
none
thought
of those
this
are
was just gonna
Dynamite
be-
books.
Come on.
There's precedent. No, there's precedent. There's precedent to be like, actually, I can like all of Power Rangers has exploded. Like everybody
Sure.
spoke highly of it, right? Like I think there's an expectation at this point for translating TV and movies to comics, and they're generally pretty all right. Star Wars, right? Another great example of that stuff. Like great shit, Like I expect more, and this fell flat hard.
I say there's also precedent for Dynamite doing things like this,
I guess.
which
Yeah.
sucks too. Because like, if they're gonna drop the ball on this, give Disney, just give someone else the IP. Just publish this through Marvel. You know what I mean?
Please.
Like, I'd love to get an
Yeah.
explanation of why that happens, but whatever.
All right. Well, speaking of Marvel, Zeb Wells is spinning a dark web, and he's assisted by Adam Kubert and Frank Martin to tell this story. This is, of course, the X-Men Spider-Man crossover book that is aping the 90s event Inferno, not to be confused with the 2021 comics event Inferno, which has vaguely anything to do with any of that. The villains here are going to be Madeline Pryor and Ben Riley in his new persona, Chasm, and Venom, I guess. A recently brain scraped Venom, if you will. Um, I This was all right. This was all right. I was not looking forward to this event. I'm at the point in my reading career where I just don't really like reading the like ancillary, not major events.
Wow,
Um,
slander.
well, and so the idea that that Madeline Pryor and Ben Riley are going to team up because they're clones is like, really, Marvel? That's the big idea, is that, hey, we got two villain clones, let's put them together. That's not my bag.
I mean, that's got to be the most innovative idea they've had in how long?
Oh, wow.
They even came up with a new name for it. They're not reaching for. I mean,
Hey,
it's based on the old event. I'll give you that, but they at least came up with a new name.
AXC Judgment Day had an interesting concept, okay? Execution. Now, speaking of execution, uh, I think that this is pretty by numbers, but even despite that, it has some fun things that I like. I'm a sucker for the X-Men going and being on Christmas shopping or whatever they're doing. I like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I thought the little like horror dream that Ben Riley has at the beginning of the book, where he's freaked out about MJ and Peter, I like that. That was cool. And actually, you know what? The scene where Ben Riley beats the shit out of Norman Osborn, I like that too. So I guess I enjoyed a lot of this, despite the fact that the premise for me is super thin.
Um, I have two words here, and it's Adam Kubert. Um,
Sure.
I love
Yeah.
Kubert. And
This
this is
feels
like him doing
different.
a little bit, a little bit. At a certain point, I was like, "Wait, is this Kubert?" I was like, I
Yeah,
felt like Calvin Coley a bit at
because
some
there
points.
are two Kuberts right now, right?
There's that,
Yeah.
well, there's three technically.
Well,
Um,
technically, but the old
yeah.
one's
No, there's
old
a
and
daughter now. What's her name? Emma Kubert. She's been doing stuff at Image. Yeah,
oh, I
Oh,
didn't know that.
there's a lineage.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
the art felt inconsistent. Like there were moments where it felt like style would change in between.
Yeah, but I kind of liked it.
Oddly, it worked. It gave me different tones, and that felt good because you'd have this more cartoony style with the X-Men, and then when it came to uh, Madeline Pryor, it was all I don't know, gothic looking. And then stuff was softer when it was just Peter. It was interesting.
And I also think Frank Martin colors really help with it. Martin has a very, I would say, muted palette in a lot of stuff. None of these are super vibrant outside of, once we get to Limbo, where you see, the bright fires of Limbo and all that. Everything else is kind of diluted, unless it's a light, yet still colorful, if that makes sense. Um, I mean, if you read King in Black, I believe that was Frank Martin as well. Um, that's the kind of thing they're going for. And then like occasionally you'll have like Chasm's, costume, which I gotta say, guys, is kind of cool. I kind of
Get
like
the
it.
fuck out of here.
It grew on me as I was reading it. I think
really
I'm
like
into it.
As I was
I was
photoshopping
ready.
it for the image, I'm like, this costume kind of slaps.
I was ready to make fun of it, and I'm pretty sure I did when he switched sides or whatever. But you know what? Kind of like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I thought this was fun. I think there's good little character moments there. I think like Norman being outside the coffee shop and he paid for everything because he didn't want to be there because he doesn't really trust himself there. There's the whole like Scott Summers being a Christmas guy that just tracks. That makes total sense. The whole
Yes,
bit
to
of
me.
them, it almost felt very Marvels to me. There's that scene in Marvels where the X-Men are in Rockefeller Center. They're in their like civilian clothes and like all warmed up. So seeing that again with like Firestar and Bobby too, I thought that was fun. I love Limbo Demons because they're wacky. They are like C-rate horror movies where it's like, oh, this is a demonic fire hydrant, and I feel like artists can really have fun with that. I had fun with this. I like this. Also has magic in it. So if you put magic in a book, that's like plus 3 instantly for me. So
It was fun.
I think for me the hardest part was the coffee shop scene. Because like I kind of felt like if you're not reading Spider-Man right now, you're a bit like, what the fuck is going on?
There was one page where I think each panel had an editor's note.
Yeah.
It was like,
I
I've
also
seen it,
think
I've seen it.
that that's the type of scene that if you could put that in any era of Spider-Man and just like fill in the balloons in a different way, and it would fit in just about any era.
That's an interesting point. It feels like a quintessential scene in the sense that this is the dance that these two characters have been doing. Like Norman the man behind the mask would like to be a good man, but he just can't. And Peter would love nothing more than to welcome Norman onto the other side, and he's trusting enough to do it, but he gets railroaded every time. Sort of sad.
And even inside the coffee shop, oh yeah, we're all here, and Peter's thrown this thing for somebody, and oh MJ's there, but there's something off, something's wrong.
Yeah.
We've
Harry's
seen
dead
that
again,
scene practically.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You could do the same exact book in 99.
It's like a shorthand.
Yeah, outside of like Chasm being a thing, yeah, this could be. You could slot this in anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, other than that though, like I think this might be my pick of the week. I really enjoyed this.
I'm feeling the same. I think it's
me too.
I think it's mine as well.
Also, like I like how I'm not up to date on Venom, so I don't know what the fuck he was doing back on Earth. But the whole point where like we want monster Venom for this book. Let's write our way into that. I was cool with that. I was like, all right. Even the Venom is going back to like classic Venom at this point in this too. So
I'm feeling like because this book's obviously been in the works for a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like that whole first issue, this one here, was written before the Al Ewing Rom V stuff, and they just had to like.
Well, he's asking for his son though, so I feel like there is some kind of.
Well, his son's been in a character.
He's been around.
Yeah.
Fair. We'll see.
Yeah, I think this is my pick of the week too. I think so. It's not a strong one for me. Like there just wasn't enough competition for that slot this week. But yeah, I think this is it.
This book can eat my brain, dude. Next. Pass.
Oh,
Okay. I thought that was
That was
positive.
yeah, that was a funny way to say that.
Oh, no, because at the end, Venom could eat Spider-Man's brain. Just let it happen. Don't want it.
Man, Marco wants the brain. I get it.
Always, baby.
Is that a
I was expecting this to be
is that a
Marco's pick of the
slang,
week,
a
just
euphemism?
for,
Oh, Kale, you're so
Yes.
old.
Yes, it
never
is.
mind. I'm just gonna drop what I was
Sorry.
gonna say. It's fine. Whatever.
All right. So, moving on, we're going to be talking about Immortal X-Men number 9 and the many lives and many deaths of Mr. Sinister. This is a funny issue. I liked it. I'm a little I think I'm a little frustrated with Immortal X-Men right now because I just desperately want it to go somewhere. But
Yeah.
despite that, this issue just pretty much features Sinister trying several different ways to ultimately kill the Quiet Council. Primarily Hope, by all accounts. And the fact that it shows us why Destiny being alive was such a problem for Moira. Because as long as Destiny's alive, you really can't plot in any way because she'll always know it, which is pretty cool. Um, I'm a little bit tired of this, honestly. I don't know. I thought that nothing could happen to knock me off course with the X books. Hickman being gone obviously deterred that level of thought, but then Immortal X-Men started off so strong. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is it. And now I'm kind of like, next, please.
It's meandering and not in any way that's particularly engaging. I thought this issue was fun because it's good to see Sinister be goofy, and as long as that gets played into it, I'm pretty content. But this, it raises some questions on like how he uses Moira as like save points, basically, which is pretty. It's funny. It's an interesting concept because I would assume that power would reset total timelines, not like up to a point of birth.
That is just...
Yeah, I had some trouble wrapping my brain around the power set there. But we've only seen Moira's powers through Moira's perspective, so I guess this is how you could interpret it from the outside.
That's fair.
What did you describe her as? Like a reality bomb, essentially?
Something like that. Yeah. A boom. Oh no, that was something else. The boom boom bomb.
I kind of just feel like that doesn't even matter, and they shouldn't even talk about it. There are some things in superhero comics where when you start answering too many questions, it starts to make less and less sense. I assumed whatever I assumed about Moira's power set, and I think you leave it there. This is the kind of shit that I just don't care about. Hickman's run was not about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, her powers were a means to an end, and he made it interesting through events and through dialogue, not through, oh, well, actually it works like this and this is that. And I feel like the last several issues of Immortal X-Men have just been about that kind of stuff. I mean, answering questions that I never cared to know, and now I have more questions that I don't want to have.
This whole Immortal X-Men run has been inconsistent, and like I think Judgment Day fucked it, honestly. That's most of the book is Judgment Day stuff, I feel like.
Like 3 issues worth.
Which sucks because there's a lot of good character moments in this issue and in the run as a whole, but there's been no real cohesion. The most cohesion is like it's about the Quiet Council. Every issue is perspective of somebody else.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah. No, this book is literally just Sinister making his play. And yes, a lot of stuff happens in it, but in terms of forward progression in the plot, it's like a scene happened, really.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It was graphic, though. Like, surprisingly violent for a Marvel comic, I felt.
I appreciated that.
That doesn't make...
like I've seen worse.
It doesn't make it good or bad, in my opinion. It was just a note that I had.
No, sure, yeah, for sure.
I think I'm really tired of Sinister now.
Damn.
I liked him under Hickman. I like it. I even still, I'm into his sassiness or whatever. But I'm a bit like, okay, you keep telling me he's this giant bad guy, but he's still a side character. He's still a fucking henchman.
He's still there. He's still on the council. Why? I don't understand. This is stupid. And also, Kale, you said you liked him under Hickman. Well, think back. How much did you really see Sinister?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
He had
his own island. He was doing his own fucking thing.
Yeah. He was a punchline, really, when during Quiet Council meetings. He was really just a punchline.
But he was also a mystery box. And you didn't know what he was doing.
Yep.
You didn't know what he was thinking. You knew he had his own agenda. Everyone there knew it, but they needed him around. And they explained why they needed him around, and it was fine. Now, it's just like, okay, he's actively dangerous. He's plotting against you, and you know it. It's unclear why he's still there. And by the way, he's in every issue, at the center of every issue. I cannot do this anymore. I don't care. And we're about to go into a Sins of Sinister event.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this event better put some fucking mileage on Sinister because I think I've had enough. Like, I
He's got
He's
to
just
get
on
written off the
empty.
board at the end of this.
He's not that interesting. Like less is more, and he's a villain. So there's only so much I even want to see of him anyway. I just I don't know. They wrote Apocalypse off, and we've had this. To me, that's the biggest question mark going in the X stuff. Is where's Apocalypse? When's he coming back? I'd like to get to that. There's so many interesting things. Why can't we send Sinister off somewhere and let him come back at some other time? I can't do this.
I did like the one bit in here. Again, good character bits throughout this where Sinister's like, "Oh, I wasn't judged during Judgment Day," and then Destiny's like, "Oh, I wonder if Doctor Stasis was." Putting that seed of doubt into Sinister's head, like, "Oh, am I
Hmm.
the clone?" More clone shenanigans, and this is why I named the YouTube Attack of the Clones because there's a lot of friggin' clones in this week. Um,
and I
but
think
I
yeah, I
enjoyed that
think
bit of it.
that's all well and I think that's all well and good. And this upcoming event or whatever is about the other Sinister clones. Great. That was T's last Immortal X-Men issue. Let's go.
Yeah. Tyler keeps mentioning the good character moments, and there are a
Mhm.
few. The issue is centers around once again Sinister trying to assassinate Hope, and then just realizing, okay, I have to try to assassinate everybody on the Quiet Council, and it just goes disastrously bad. There are a lot of fun moments. You can see all the different ways that Sinister fails, which
Mm.
of course harkens back to the issue of House of X, I think, where we see Moira, dying repeatedly in different fashions.
Yeah.
Um, this is almost a parody of that idea. It's not treated as seriously as it is in House and Powers. Um, there's a lot of fun deaths. Getting to see, how the characters feel about Sinister is funny. Um, but I say this as respectfully as I possibly can. I really like Kieran Gillen. I just feel like he's having too much fun being cute, and I want him to get more. I kind of want him to get more serious. This doesn't feel like it matters. It feels inconsequential. Sinister's a clown, and he's not supposed to be. That's the difference, and that's why I never liked Sinister in Kieran Gillen's Uncanny X-Men. I believe it was Uncanny at the time
Yep, it was.
because Sinister was a joke. When I was growing up and watching the show, the X-Men show, Sinister was creepy as hell, and
Yeah.
I was scared of him.
Hmm.
And he was
Hmm.
extremely smart. I'm not saying that you can't have the sassiness and fun. I just think that there's a middle ground that's not being hit here.
It's almost
Like,
like he was Sinister.
yes, yes, indeed, indeed. Um, but what did you guys think of, like, for example, Kate's soliloquy, Kate Pride, at the front of the book?
I liked her bit through the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it we haven't gotten to spend a ton of time with Kate. I guess unless you're reading. Does she have a book right now?
I think she's still in
She's in
Marauders, but
Marauders.
I'm
She's still in
not. Yeah,
Marauders. Yeah.
Oh, it is still there. Yeah. I haven't got to spend a ton of time with Kate. I gave up on Marauders a long time ago. So it was good to, you know, get stuff from her perspective again.
Yeah.
And I liked the way Gillen uses her narration to cycle through the Sinister attempts.
yeah. That, and again, cute.
Mm,
We didn't learn anything about Kate though. Like,
Yeah.
it's another Sinister issue, even though the focus is on Kate. Whereas when this book started, it felt like every issue that was focused on a character, we got something new about that character.
yeah.
So yeah, that kind of frustrated me.
Just
Um,
abandoned it halfway through.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the interesting stuff in this series has been Destiny and Mystique.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And it's sort of, if it's not like excellent, it's mediocre and put to the side for Sinister.
Yeah, yeah. Like they've been put to the back burner at this point, and I want
Like
more of that.
The last
them.
issue was them as Holmes and Adler, and it's just like I don't care about that.
Wait, Matt, why why are you grateful for now that you know that I hate it? And I don't know. I don't hate it. It's just maybe I do. I don't know. I don't want to, I don't want to feel that way.
We were at shout out All Yeah Comics in Harris, New York. Matt and I were there yesterday, and he's like, "Do I pick up Immortal X-Men?" I'm like, "No." I was like, he wouldn't like it. I know, Matt. Like, I'm only...
talked you out of. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. Okay, that makes a lot more
Oh yeah,
sense.
I talked him down. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
I think Tyler did the right thing as a good boy to talk you down.
Thank you. He didn't pet me either like a good boy, which is shameful. But
On the art front, I was less than thrilled. On the one hand, like this Hope right there, the way she's looking, I feel like she was staring in my soul. In a good way. That like she just that like that's just a genuinely like wow, she looks beautiful right there. That's a great image on the part of Lucas Wernick. On the other hand, I didn't feel like a lot of the other character designs really hit the mark for me. Felt like Sinister's hairstyle changed every single time he appeared.
Kate was kind of weird too sometimes.
Yeah.
I do like the way she's portrayed now, though, with like extra curly hair, like kind of big hair now.
Sure.
And I like the pirate costume. I gotta
Same.
say, it's really worn on me.
But what's her gimmick now? You know, like what's she about now? I guess I'd have to read Marauders to find
She's
out.
just like
But
she's essentially a chess piece, you know, and she recognizes that.
I just for the fact that some of these characters are in 2 and 3 books, it feels awfully like they don't get much development. I kind of thought that the point of the writers and artists in the X-Men line not wanting to move forward with the story was to spend more time with these characters, and it doesn't feel like that time is being utilized very well. Am I alone there, or?
I don't disagree.
Because remember how Hickman wanted to move things forward, and then
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, other than Destiny and Mystique, I'm not really reading.
Well,
the
Magneto
other
had
books.
some development, but
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
X-Men
listen,
Red's been good.
that's development. You know, like Nightcrawler has horns now.
Yeah. which I didn't.
Yeah,
I haven't. I'm behind, so I didn't know where
That's a
that came
thing.
I don't know where that happened.
Is that still like the Way of X book? No, what is it?
No,
Could be.
I think I don't think we've
Legion?
missed anything.
from. There was no editor's note for that.
Yeah, I think that's just the thing now.
What's the other book that he's like the little church leader or whatever the fuck?
Well, I mean, he is horny in that book.
Now
so I
he's
guess that...
now he's a cop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Is it Legion of X?
Something like yes, Legion of X.
It's Legion of X. Yep.
Look, if you're on the horn with Immortal X-Men, I think you're probably feeling similarly to how the rest of us are at this point. There's no reason for you to start this book if you're not reading it, but if you are reading it and you're on the fence about continuing on, I cannot say, hey, yes, you need more Sinister books in your life. Not if they're going to be like this. I don't think this is necessary. I'll tell you whenever the book is at a place where it feels like must read comics again. But right now, it just doesn't feel like that. It feels like fluff.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I think I'm a tentative pass. I enjoyed what I read, but like I don't feel like I went anywhere necessarily. I think it was well told. It was a story that was fun to read. That's about it.
Yeah, somehow this book managed to be fun, but also frustrating.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. As a single issue, I found it fun, but as a number 9 in the series, I didn't care much for it.
Yeah.
9 of 10, by the way.
Oh, is next one?
We get
It-
You
it
sure?
changes into Sinister
No.
X-Men, I think, or it changes
he
its
said
name.
no.
What are you asking
Wait.
me if I'm sure for? I don't know. The least informed person here. What do you?
All right, let's talk about All Against All. This is, of course, the book by Alex Packnadell, who we just interviewed on the show this past Saturday. Go check that out if you want to hear his inside thoughts about this book and his career and
Digital marketing.
digital
Oh,
marketing.
apparently.
With art by Casper Wingard and letters by Hassan Otzman El Okay, so when you all did the interview, you'd already read this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had not. I heard the interview first and therefore was very confused by the contents of this comic book. I
Oh, interesting.
understand that the book is trying to introduce us to this new race of creatures, and it's showing how they have essentially subjugated Earth's animals and assuming they've done this to other planets and other species over their years. But the concept that I was pitched on was, alien in reverse.
Yeah.
And this first issue does not feature that concept. I guess it introduces that will be what happens going forward by showing us in the end that there's this human male who, is slinging brain for some reason,
Yeah.
and is gonna, try to get revenge on these alien creatures. Okay, I got that. That's fine. I don't care about these aliens at all. I think the perspective of this book is off. Because I just don't care about these creatures. I the whole time was like, okay, I know the premise, so where's the human at? Like let's get to that. Because you want me to care about these aliens who are evil and have enslaved humanity and all the creatures of earth and all that stuff? Like, am I supposed to care about that? Because I don't. Like that's where I came at this from.
I mean, for me, Alien is probably my top 5 favorite movies of all time, the original. So I can kind of see where this is going. Like the beginning of Alien is really just kind of not getting you to care about the characters. Sure, some of them, but it just really show you who these characters are, so that sometimes when they get killed, you're fine with it. But usually, but in Alien, we don't really get that until the first death happens. Really, then people start showing their true colors. So we're just not there yet in this story. So that's where I was like, all right, well, we're getting there. Like essentially, showing the human was like showing that the I guess the egg or the face hugger originally. Like it's the
Sure.
beginning. Like, oh, something's up.
Okay,
And
but when you watch Alien,
yeah,
well, not when you watch it because you're a super fan, but when an individual person watches Alien, they're not rooting for the alien. They're rooting for the humans.
they're rooting for a specific human, I'd say.
Okay, but if the alien gets to Earth, humanity dies or whatever, it's a bad time.
Sure, yeah.
You're not rooting against humanity.
Sure.
In this case, I'm not rooting for this random species. I'm rooting for the human. In Alien, the alien is the bad monster. In this comic book, the human is, to me, good because I don't see any other humans. I see what they're doing to these animals. These people suck. So it feels like I'm watching this from the wrong side.
Thanks, Harris, by the way, for the Twitch sub. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Harris.
I think that's where I got some of the interest from, was that role was reversed, because now I'm assuming the human's going to be the villain, and that's an interesting premise for me. That to me is okay, they're going to get hunted and picked off. And to Tyler's point, we didn't get to know these characters enough to sympathize. We just got to see sort of the dynamics between them. Like one's kind of an asshole, one has some level of or aspect of humanity and is just there for purely for research, and some are just military people. And I think for me, the mix of not humans, but like the mix of those aliens being there, I like the dynamic enough that if the human's in a position as a bad guy going to come in and start paring down on the species, that's interesting. So I'm willing to give it that grace for the fact that I want to see them start to get hunted down, kind of.
But do you hate them?
I don't think I need to.
I would think that, you would want the reader to want to see them die. And I don't have that feeling either. I came away from this like, all right, well, guess I don't care, because these characters they don't really have much personality to them. They're not that compelling. And I dislike what they've done, but they don't really seem to matter in terms of their personalities. And I think maybe that's what this was lacking. I would have liked to hate them so that I could be like, yes, I need them to die. Yeah.
The other wrinkle too is that we don't know the state of this human in this book, because this is after humanity's destroyed itself.
Right.
Maybe this human is a monster. Like there is a mystery there as well,
Maybe, but they are monsters, right?
I'd argue the main scientist guy and his daughter are probably the people that we're going to be rooting for.
They have like
in
heart.
some way.
Yeah, I think the military guy, Colonel, whoever he is.
The general.
Is he a general? Okay. I feel like he does go far, and you do get, that he likes to swing his rank around and, act like a tough guy. And he's in charge and everything, but it didn't feel quite like enough.
What do you mean, like enough? Like enough to get you to dislike the character?
Well, yeah, dislike him specifically over the
Someone else.
scientist.
Sure. Okay.
And I think the other thing that doesn't quite help is that their whole method is kind of confusing. Their whole story is kind of confusing up until like you see it well into the issue.
What, like the jellyfish blob thing, and they're like flesh suits essentially?
Yeah, they're operators who
Sure.
do this thing, and they've existed for however long, and I don't know. I found it really confusing, especially when you pair it with the elevator pitch of it's Alien but backward.
I'd say you kind of get it once you see the general and you can see the differing states of their suits. It's like, all right, well, they need to keep grafting, I guess, bio-organic life forms to kind of keep themselves going.
But even then, you're halfway through the issue, and it's like, I'm still having trouble grasping this.
Which I do want to shed some light on the Casper Wingard art, because I thought that was a real highlight for me. Honestly, that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah,
of this book,
absolutely.
Looking at that, yeah,
Knocks it out of the park. When we were talking to Alex, he mentioned the feathering alongside the art, like if you notice the individual inks and lines, they're not as clean. They look almost like chalk, and that adds a really interesting flavor. He mentioned it. It feels like a bit more organic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like cave paintings. Did Alex mention that, or did I?
That's right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Cave painting. So it looks that much more sort of primal, and I think it works really well. The colors are phenomenal as well. the use of like these hot pinks, especially for like a sci-fi book, the exact opposite of what would be in something like Alien, for example. Like that is, you know, pure horror, darks, a lot of blacks, a lot of just shadows and stuff. But this is bright. This is loud. I think that as a counterpoint works really well. And I called out the lettering in that issue, or in that episode rather, because it's also feathered. It doesn't have these outlines, and it looks like it's just grafted back onto the wall. And Haas is just, he's a great fucking letterer.
A great Twitter follow, by the way, too.
Yeah, super
With his process.
educational.
Yeah. He recently tweeted this thing, or it's just a white page with different word balloons from all the different things he's working on, but he wasn't saying which is what. But like you can tell, I'm like, oh, this is DC versus vampires. This is All Against All here. Like the fact that I can pick those out just by balloon is wild.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We got a comment from a first-time chat from Die the Hero over on Twitch who said, you can definitely tell it's an Image comic book by the cover. And that comment is funny, but it made me think about the fact that this feels like an Image #1 in not the best way, where I feel like a lot of times the first arc of an Image book that anticipates having legs to it, and even some that don't, they don't do a lot to hook you in the first issue.
This drives me nuts about. I was going to bring this up too. This drives me nuts about first issues.
This is $4, right? And like, what did we see? You know, like the Casper Wingard art is really great, and if you're into that, then you know, sure, $4 is worth it, I guess. But like, what happened? You know, why should I come back? And I think that's the biggest question mark for me. I'm unclear on who I'm supposed to care about. I'm unclear on what the angle is here. There's not, in my opinion, a very clear, you know, hero villain sides thing going on, which is fair. You don't have to do that all the time, but it's lacking that. It's lacking dynamic characters. I'm not sure how interested I am in anything. Nothing happened. The story didn't move forward in any conceivable way. Why should I come back?
Can I counter that, Sean?
Sorry?
Can I counter that real quick?
Of course.
What happens in this book? A gorilla fights a bear. That shit's cool.
Turn on the fucking Discovery Channel. Like,
where are you seeing gorillas and bears fighting? Tell me. I will like to watch that.
But like, this book is about a human, the human, killing aliens. Like, where's that?
We're not there yet. Like,
Why
I'm okay.
not? That's what I'm saying. Why not?
But I'm okay with that slow burn because we know it's going to happen because we get the dick reveal at the end.
But why should I come back for that? Like, what happened? I don't know. I don't want to rail on it. I really enjoyed the interview. I think Alex seems like a very talented creator. I like what he said about it. But I just off this issue, I just don't see a reason for me to come back. And I almost guarantee you that when I read issue 2, I'm going to say, wow, I wish this was issue 1. Because I feel like that happens all the time.
I feel like something that happens with Image #1s too, and just new Image series in general, is that it's not an issue 1 as much as it's going to be a trade one. It's going to be that nice $10 trade.
And that's a huge problem. If you're going to market your shit like that, just put it out.
Just
put out the trade.
Don't make it
Like, you want me to buy it, make me want to buy it.
Thanks for pinning that comment to the Twitch, Marco. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay on. I'm curious about issue 2. Matt says $10 trades are for poors.
Damn. Classic
Listen,
right there. Jeez.
I'm poor. I don't know what you want.
And that's, you know, it's a great initiative by Image, but I do feel like, you know, you gotta earn it in the singles. You gotta earn it in singles. And I mean, look, it's magic, man. It's not like it's easy to do this shit. But I feel like you got to earn it in your singles, and you got to come out strong in issue 1. You just have to. How do you survive if you don't? This market is hard.
For me, it's a pull for me. I will be much like the Dick at the end of this book. I'm going to be hanging on till issue 2.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, I'll be here for issue 2, but I'm not saying that I think you, the listener, should. I think you should give issue 1 a shot. I think you should try it. There's very little reason not to try an issue 1. But where you go from there is up to you.
If you're one of those weirdo speculator people, just get an issue number 1. It's just a safe investment, right? Isn't that what they call it?
I guess.
Get that shit
Should
graded.
be.
If you're looking at your $4 purchase as an investment, sounds like you have a different problem. Man, I mean, I'm always here for that. Always. So that's gonna be it for our reviews, but the show's not over because we have Comics Tag, and Marco is actually here. So Marco was tagged to read Ultimates 3 a couple of weeks ago as a form of punishment on my part for several things.
Giving you a great book.
Wrong. And so all I want to hear from you is what you thought about Ultimates 3.
It was pretty bad, dude. It was pretty bad, dude. And so what I did was I got the omnibus for Ultimates. So I read Ultimates 1. Incredible. Absolutely phenomenal.
Mark Millar?
Sorry?
Is that Mark Millar?
Mark Millar, Brian Hitch.
Honestly, I never read it. That might be a good book club.
You think this letter on my head stands for France? Ooh. That gave 12-year-old me the hottest boner, man. Wolf. I love that line.
Yo, it was just it was so good. The writing, the dynamics between the characters, the drama, the scandal, like all of it was there, and it was all condensed in this. Ultimates was like part of the Ultimate shit, right? Like all of that. So it was brand new from scratch, and that felt like if I had the history to go into that and get that reset, I'd probably be okay. Because it was just crafted so well. And then I didn't get a chance to read Ultimates 2, but I jumped straight into 3. It was 5 issues, and woof. From opening page 1, it was Joe Mad's art, which I didn't expect to see. I appreciated seeing him, and then I saw the art, and I was like, no. People got fucking waxy ass figures. Everybody's roided out, and then all the women got fucking bolt-on boobs, dude. Like, it was a lot, and the story felt aimless, and I didn't understand what the resolution was going to be and where it was going to go. And then it turns out it's fucking Ultron, and he's like horny for Scarlet Witch, and so he decides to kill her because if he can't have her, nobody can. And
Incel Ultron? I want to read this now.
Asinine. And I was so disappointed. Coming off of such a hot book to the poo that was Venom melting into a pile of poo. It was bad. No fun. I appreciate reading it, Sean. Thank you, though.
I like how you just had to read Ultimates 3 and you were like, I got to start from the beginning.
Oh, that's the way I am for a lot of shit. I need to go back. I need context. I can't just dive in like that. And I wish, coming out of Ultimates, I wish I would have read Ultimates 2. I don't know if it's as good as number 1. But
you wouldn't have gotten much more.
It's still good. It's not as good. It's not as new. It's not as fresh, but it's cool. Ultimates 3 though is just a different it's a different beast altogether.
Jeff Loeb, Joe Mad. I thought I was gonna be like, oh, cool. They're gonna knock it out of the park. I don't know what Sean's talking about. This is a great team.
Is that like early digital coloring too, or everything's?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't handle it. No fun.
Ugh. Sorry, my cat just yawned and it just reeked of fish in here.
After Marco's trip with the Onslaught saga, I half expected him to come in here hot, like, dude, I love this.
No. I genuinely loved Onslaught. That's book of the year that year.
He thought he would. He didn't realize the depths of insanity that he was walking into. And I wish I had tagged him with Ultimates, Ultimatum, because that has some level of finality to it. We're not doing comics tag anymore because, some of us can't make the show.
Wow, Kale.
It's funny, a bus just drove by too.
Try again?
Under it.
I'm not even gonna let you hit me with that one. I'm here every fucking week, dog.
At like 2 a.m. too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, he hustles. He hustles for this.
Yeah, that's right.
I apologize, Kale. I apologize. I take that back.
Yeah. I'll rub your fucking nose in it. Don't even come after me.
Sean, should we talk about our Pals polls for next week?
Indeed.
All right. I don't know who's up first. What do we have? Pals polls. We have Grim number 6. This is Sean's pick.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I've really been enjoying Grim. I don't know if any of you are still on the hook with this.
Oh, you've kept up?
Yes. It's quite good. I definitely, this is my first real exposure to Stephanie Phillips.
Yes.
And I think she's doing a great job. Yep. It's got the trappings of a YA book, where it's like young girl, prophecy, destiny, yada yada yada, secret family stuff. But it's all coming together. It's all coming together in what I think is a nice package. I've really been enjoying it. And the art is hot. It's hot. I'm pulling up the name right now.
It's
Fabiano.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Fabiano did a couple of issues of the Power Man Heroes for Hire. It was the Power Man and Iron Fist one recently. Not recently. Geez, time is diluting. But the most recent one, I guess. That's fair. Good stuff there, too.
Oh, man. Die the Hero says just picked up the Onslaught singles in a dollar bin. Dude, I want to do that. How come I can't find stuff like that? I would love to own all those issues. I've not read Onslaught.
I got him, Sean. Feel free. Feel free. I will lend them to you.
I'd read it.
If you'll go to somewhere that's not Midtown, there are shops that collect the great big bundles of issues.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell them like that too. It's cool.
That's a good point, dude. I've never really seen that out in the wild like that, man. Maybe I need to make that shift. What's next, Tyler?
It's a pick that you and I picked. Spawn Batman, or Batman Spawn, #1 by McFarlane, Capullo, and McCaig.
Dude, listen, Spawn Freaks Unite. This is our moment. How could we be any more excited? You got Spawn, who we love so much, and you got Batman, who obviously you love so much, all rendered perfectly and beautifully by Capullo. The only downside to this whole deal is the person whose name's writing it.
I would say there might be somebody who gets a good deal out of this.
Huh?
Somebody's going to get a good deal out of this. Like a character in this is going to have their shining moment. And it's probably going to be Vicky Vale, because I guarantee you there's got to be a damn fucking news report page.
Of course. Of course. This is going to be great.
Of course it's going to be that. But I'm going to love it. Yeah.
And Capullo, too.
Yeah. Honestly, I was curious who would get top billing here. I wasn't sure if it would be Spawn Batman or Batman. I mean, it's got to be
Batman. I mean, my God.
I don't know, man. McFarlane likes to swing that around,
It's a DC comic book.
Fair. You got me there. But that was you and I's pick, Sean. But Kale and I also want to check out Danger Street #1 by Tom King, Jorge Fornes, and Dave Stewart.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what to expect out of this other than the slew of characters that he's advertised, promoted,
showcasing,
revealed.
She's revealed them,
showcasing.
yeah.
The Creeper
Yep.
is
Matt's
gonna be in a book in
oh,
2022. Yeah, dog.
What?
Um, I don't know. I think I'm back on the Tom King train.
Yes, you fell off for quite a bit.
Yeah,
Rorschach,
brought you
Rorschach
back,
brought
huh?
you back, yeah?
yeah, it
and
really
this
did.
is that team,
Yep.
right? Was Dave Stewart on Rorschach as well?
I believe so.
I
Yeah,
think so.
then this is the team. Yep.
Yeah.
I love Metamorpho, so he's in this too. So
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right. Metamorpho, come on.
yep. And Lady Cop. Lady Cop's in this too. Which boy, let's see what Tom King can do with Lady Cop. That's
I think Tom King he at least, if his voice isn't necessarily unique, he's at least bringing a voice to characters that are unique. And I think that's interesting in this era anyway.
Yeah. Human Target is a great example of that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but now Tom King is like, okay, any subsequent Human Target book, let's say if they ever decide to do it again, I'm like, oh, I kind of know what he should sound like per Tom King. Like that's the impact he's left.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
and then Kale, you wanted to check out Amazing Spider-Man number 14, is it? I believe so.
15.
15, which is funny
It's
because when you told me this is your pals full, I'm like, wait, did Kale like Dark Web? What's gonna happen?
I kind of did, yeah. And this issue of Spider-Man is going to have Ed McGuinness on art and not Romita Jr.
Oh, yes. Thank God.
You know what? I'll check it out.
Although on the cover, this is the most twink Venom I've ever seen.
Man,
Dude is lithe and
I
svelte.
just like, where does JR get off?
Probably at home.
Like,
Thinking about Twink Venom.
It reminds me of Topher Grace,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Also, that
and I don't like that.
that Spider-Man
Venom
costume
shouldn't
is
look
dreadful.
like that.
And that tongue too is very phallic. All right. Marco wanted to check out Art Brut. This is by the Ice Cream Man team of Prince Marazzo and Lopez.
Yeah, William W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Marazzo, Matt Lopez. Easy. I loved the clown. I loved the Ice Cream Man. I loved.
Haha, right? Was it?
Sorry.
Was it called Haha? The
Oh,
clown?
haha. Yes. I think that they're such a tight team. The Prince's mind is just so interesting, and the concepts he explores. Marazzo's art is phenomenal, and so I don't even know what this book is about. I'm sold solely off of the cover, which looks like this. It actually looks like Morrison's Doom Patrol.
I was gonna say
with-
the exact same thing, Marco.
Yeah. Like
Volume
it looks like
3
it's hitting
or
that
something like
mark
that,
of Mr. Nobody and shit, and all of that pop art mixed.
Dada.
Yes,
style.
exactly. So if that's the kind of shit that they're hitting, sold, easy buy.
And then you also wanted to check out Nightclub #1.
Yeah, this is Mark Millar and Juanan Ramirez. Millar, I'll typically pick up a #1. It's usually well worth just seeing what he has to offer. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. And if I do, I'll stick onto it. And this one actually is going to be $1.99, and I think he's going to keep the book that way. He actually says in
Series says,
in the description, this series will be $1.99. Take that, Marvel and DC. Like, all right, funny enough. It's about vampires, potentially superhero vampires, and maybe luchador vampires. So we'll see. It looks goofy, and I feel like that's Millar's vibe. So I'm down to check it out.
This smells like a Sean book. Luchador superhero vampires? Too
Nope.
much? Too much stuff?
He said, "Nope. Wait, what?
Nope.
No vampires?"
Oh yeah, well, Mark Millar had a new book announcement. We'll probably talk about it on Saturday. It's a stacked team. It's like Quietly and Travis Charest and interiors.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, and the announcement that he'll be doing something with Superman
Ooh.
in the coming years.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Saturday night. Don't
Coming
don't blow your load
years.
on the show.
Yeah. Don't blow your load
Years.
on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a busy guy. Hey, quick question. Did you guys catch the Batman reference in Gargoyles?
I
Yeah.
did, and I groaned.
Which
Yeah.
one?
How could you not?
Criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty lame, huh?
It's lame when they drew attention to it. They're like, "Are you quoting the Caped Crusader? Like, are you quoting copyright infringement bypass? You know, like
Right.
that's bad."
Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you. Get us on all social platforms at the Comics Pals. If you want to watch this show live, YouTube and Twitch / the Comics Pals every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Catch our main show every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about the upheaval of DC, the Wonder Woman 3 cancellation. Is Dwayne Johnson out? We talked about that and some other fun things on the main show. Patreon.com/the Comics Pals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support your boys and get access to some pretty cool stuff over there. Everything else, the Comics Pals, you know how to find us. Thank you so much for listening.